Yeah, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in. It's another episode of Alarm Fantasy Football. I am Howard Bender. Andrew Cooper here by my side. What is going on, everybody? Coop, what's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
I'm just excited we have everybody in here, both the friends and the trolls alike. And boy, nothing tastes sweeter than those salty, salty troll tears, Howard. For those
Oh,
that missed the Sirius XM
mm.
show last night, I was not on it, but Howard took a couple moments. Just as we know, the average listener, only pops in for 10 minutes at a time. So Howard made sure that each segment along the way, just to recap, that trolls can go eat it. They can go bite it, especially if you're a jerk and you're wrong. Because being a jerk is the best way to be wrong right from the rip. Like, whether you get the question right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Once you're a jerk, you're already wrong. But to be double wrong, oh, that's my very favorite. So shout out to the trolls. Shout out to everybody that hopped to our defense. I know we don't need it, but we do appreciate it. So shout out to the Fantasy Slam family, Howard.
That was
And
just, yeah, I mean, that was just too funny. I mean, yeah, I led off with the show. I think probably my favorite line of the whole thing was Jim Bowden trying to like turn the other cheek and
oh my God,
be the
it's so
nice guy.
good.
And he's like, those people, I pray for them. I pray for them that that their lives get better or whatever like that. And he goes off on this whole thing, and then finally, I'm like, I pray for them too, Jim. I pray that
Yeah.
they don't get hit by a bus tomorrow.
My my wife's my wife was drinking like a seltzer and she spit it out when you said that. Because I was like, we're doing bath time, and I was like, John just said something. I'm like, we got to check out what they're saying on the show. So I pulled up the Sirius XM app, which is a godsend because you can just listen to the shows like podcasts, right? It's nice. And man, that had us cracking up. So too funny, man. Just I know everybody in this chat is generally respectful, but you should see some of the stuff we get on Twitter, some of the stuff I get via email. The things that are said on Reddit are just insane. So we deal with a lot, and we're happy to have the family here for these shows.
No doubt about it. So thank you to everybody and welcome back in. Listen, this is it's playoff time. It's NFL week 16. There's a lot of work to be done. I mean, right off the top of the moment here, Coop, as far as like news goes, um, the quarterback shift that we're starting to already see here late in the season. Like, I said to somebody, I'm like, I retweeted yesterday's show. And I was like, listen, if you really want to see what heartbreak looks like, check out my face when I realized that DTR was going to start over Jameis Winston. I mean, it crushed my soul, to the point. And then I got off of the Fantasy Alarm show yesterday to the news that Kirk Cousins being benched for Michael Penix. Now, I mean, a lot of people criticize the Falcons for making that Penix pick. Why are you going to give Kirk Cousins millions and millions of dollars and then, and then draft Penix? And everybody just crapped on the Falcons. Well, I mean, after Kirk Cousins now, one touchdown pass in his last 5 weeks, 9 interceptions during that run. And, Raheem Morris is like, we're in the middle of a playoff battle here. We can't afford. I mean, they just looked so putrid against the Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football that, I mean, you knew that if they really do have playoff aspirations, that they had to make that switch. But, from a fantasy fallout perspective, like from a DFS and a season-long perspective, like season-long, chances are you're not starting Michael Penix unless it's a super flex league. If you're in a super flex league and all of a sudden you get Michael Penix in there, okay, great. I'll use that. In DFS, he's like $4,500 on. He's less than the cost of a backup tight end, right? In a lot of cases over there. So from a DFS and a superflex standpoint, great.
Right,
Season
yeah.
long, I'm not ready to like jump in and use him. One of my, Summer of Love from the Invitational League, my buddy Trace, he turned around. He asked if he was using Michael Penix. I don't remember who he was starting. I think it was Penix or Anthony Richardson, which I'll get your take on here, Coop, for sure. But I think the real question is the fallout. Do you trust Drake London? Can the Moon Boy, Darnell Mooney, retain value? Forget about the 0 last week. Shit happens. What are you going to do?
Right.
Like, we've been out on Kyle Pitts. Does the rookie quarterback lean on his tight end all of a sudden? Does that value increase? We already know it's Bijan to the moon. So break down the Falcons for me here, Coop.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And you know what? We have to discount them based on the unknown. You know what I mean? Like there's no doubt about it. But I'm probably not going to move them down as far as I am like the Browns because we know DTR is terrible, right? So it's like at least we get the unknown. And I will say this on this move, I was one of the people, the rare people that think that it's not that crazy of a move by the Falcons. To be honest, and it doesn't even matter if they can trade Kirk Cousins or not in my opinion, and in reality in this league, there are two types of teams. That's it. There are teams that have their quarterback and there are teams that don't. That's it. And when you go back and look at the team, the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, I was looking at it earlier this week, so I pulled it up. Here are the last quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, right? It's like these guys are all named Eli Manning. They're all named Manning and Brady. That's it. And Mahomes. Like if you don't have one of those guys, and we're talking that list goes like that all the way back to Breeze and Big Ben. Like it's just superstars. If you don't have your quarterback, the only thing you should be focused on is finding a quarterback. So I have no problem with going out and saying, hey, maybe it's Cousins, maybe it's this rookie. Let's find the quarterback and we'll figure the rest out later. I had no problem with the Cardinals drafting quarterback in the top 10, and then the very next year drafting another one because they didn't have their quarterback. So to me, I think they're getting too much. And again, every step of the way, they're going to take it until they find their quarterback. But I don't know. I'm on board with it. And I did a study that I posted the info on Twitter today, but the article's on Fantasy Alarm. But I did a study looking at quarterbacks and the hit rates in different drafts. The number one thing is that being drafted first or second off the board. That's the best. But the short and sweet is that if the class is good, the hit rates for everyone drafted goes up. And there's been a couple classes where that's the case. So I'm in on Penix. I'm in on JJ McCarthy still, just because I believe this class is great. So I'm excited to see Penix. I know a lot of people are disappointed that things didn't pan out and that, maybe they were counting on Drake London. I'm excited to see this guy. I'm rooting for this guy. So I'll get off the soapbox now on Terry Fontenot and all that. But like, I think they've taken too much heat for trying to do the thing that everyone says you should do, which is get the most important position in football squared away. End of rant.
Listen, you don't have to end the rant. You definitely didn't answer the question, but that's cool.
Yes,
that's cool. I want to know. Listen, as you were ranting, I was looking. I mean, listen, you've got Drake London ranked in the top 20 of wide receivers. You've got Drake London ranked ahead of Jackson Smith-Njigba, Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson. So obviously, you do feel like. I mean,
I haven't updated it.
When did you do these rankings? Yesterday,
last
in the morning.
Yeah. I did them last night. So I gotta update that. I also gotta take out the, there's been a bunch of kicker, Young Ho Koos on.
I'm not worried about kicker. I gotta change all that here. I'm worried about skill set players here. I'm worried. I want to know where you are drawing that line on a guy like Drake London, on a guy like Darnell Mooney. Initial tight end rankings here in PPR format. You got Pitts down at 18 as well. Oh, 18. You like the number 18 for some Falcons here early on. So the question is, do you look at Kyle Pitts in this matchup here? Is he better than Juwan Johnson, Ben Sinnott, Mike Gesicki, Dalton Schultz, those guys who are, below him in your rankings? So that's that's really where I'm at. And that's the question that I think needs to be kind of ascertained for everybody's sake here. Am I playing Drake London this week? Am I playing Darnell Mooney? If I'm not playing them, what is the level of player that I'm going to use ahead of him? Jackson, you have Jackson Smith-Njigba and Drake London right next to each other, right? Now, London's got Michael Penix, but he's got this super soft, squishy matchup here against the Giants. JSN got a good matchup here. It's not a great matchup, but it's an okay matchup here against the Minnesota Vikings, working out of the slot as often as he works out of the slot. But Sam Howell, maybe. We don't know if it's Geno Smith or Sam Howell.
Right. Yeah. So those guys. That's the thing. For the time being, for assuming that it is going to be Geno Smith, JSN would stay. Drake London needs to come down though. He needs to go below Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors. Probably, but honestly, at this stage, below guys like DJ Moore and Zay Flowers as well. The thing
Mhm.
is, if you're in a 3 wide receiver league with a flex spot, unless you have just an absolute wagon of a team where you have 3 guys that are all in the top 30 or 4 guys that are all in the top 40, you're probably just gonna have to bite the bullet and start somebody like Drake London because how far down can you really go? Like, I mean, I'm probably gonna end up moving him outside, definitely outside the top 30. Would you start someone like Calvin Ridley with Mason Rudolph though over him? That's
Nope.
what I mean.
I'm legit going to take the shot on some Falcons this week. And I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe I just do it in DFS. Maybe I just look at some props or some pick'em contest here. I mean, depending on who my matchups are. Like I've got to go through now and like really dig in because I've got a lot of Drake London and I've got a fair amount of Darnell Mooney. So,
right.
that's something that I definitely need to kind of figure out, but those are about individual matchups. Listen, we got more players, more teams to talk about here than
That's a big
just the
one though.
Falcons.
That's a big
That
one.
was the big news, like punching you right in the
Right.
face. Let's pop into the chat here. Shout out to the early birds here, real quick, Coop. Do you have I don't know if you've got your YouTube open here, but I'll just run through a couple of them here before we get to the ones that we can actually post on our chat. DM7819, first guy in today, or girl, I don't know. What doesn't
I
matter.
love that.
Good morning, good gents. Judy, JSN, Higgins, Downs, Coleman. Need a wide receiver and a flex full point PPR. So very interesting here. Judy with a quarterback downgrade. JSN, we don't know what's going on with his
Right.
QB. Higgins, I don't mind. Downs, not great. But Tennessee's secondary has been definitely decimated with injuries lately. But like, where do you lean on this one?
Yeah, I think Higgins is definitely going to be in the lineup here. And honestly, here's the thing: is Sam Howell that much worse than Dorian Thompson Robinson? I don't think he is. JSN this
I
year
think he's
has
better
been.
than Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Agree. And JSN's been a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, right? And it's like, Downs has been struggling with Anthony Richardson, Keon Coleman. The Bills just love to rotate. Nobody played more than 65% of the snaps out of the wide receivers. The leading pass catcher in terms of snaps was Dawson Knox with like 70 something. So they like to rotate now. So for me, I think it's still going to be JSN and Higgins kind of regardless.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. What about he's also got a QB question? This is another interesting one. Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff?
I'll tell you right now, we kind of, Howard and I go through and we kind of say, okay, these are some must start guys. These are some must sit guys. I'm looking at this matchup between the Chiefs and the Texans, and I really have no interest in starting either Mahomes or CJ Stroud here. I mean, forget the fact that Mahomes is banged up. The over under on that game is 41 points. It's like the same over under as this Jaguars Raiders game. That game is going to be kind of a grind. And the Chiefs haven't scored 30 points all season, which is absolutely insane because they only have 1 loss. I mean, both these teams are just not playing at a high level. And on the Texans side, I'm starting to feel like Howard, Bobby Slowick using the offense that he brought over with the fullback and everything last year. Don't you feel like that offense is better than this offense this year? I don't know why they went away from what they were doing that worked so well last year. Very strange. So I'm out on Mahomes. I'm out on Stroud. So give me Goff.
Give you Goff. All right. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
It's
Moving through
crazy.
here.
It seems crazy to me that is Bobby Slowick even still going to get a head coaching job, Howard, you think?
I think he probably could. I mean, listen, there's enough coaching mishaps going on right now. I mean, like, do you blame the regression of CJ Stroud on Bobby Slowick?
I don't know. I think they plan to do a 3 wide receiver offense this year, and when they lost Diggs, they
Right, you
didn't.
lost Collins, then you lost Diggs, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, we were talking. Jim Bowden threw a penalty flag at the Ravens and their usage or lack of usage at Deontay Johnson, and I said to Jim, I said deep down, I genuinely believe that the only reason that the Ravens traded for Deontay Johnson was to prevent him from going to the Texans because they picked him up like 2 days after or a day after Stephon Diggs went down. So if you're going to maneuver, right, you're only giving up. I think you give up like a 5th or a 6th round draft choice, something kind of meager there for Deontay Johnson. And then probably just were like, you know what, man, you just don't fit into our system here. You don't fit our scheme. You don't fit our vibe of what we're trying to do here. And, but we didn't want you to go to Houston. So, I think that's kind of of an interesting aspect of it, in that sense
Great
of,
point.
whether or not a guy actually fits and what would have been for the Houston Texans had they been able to acquire Deontay Johnson, a good, solid possession receiver. Doesn't have to be a high A-dot guy, can be just a good move the chains type player. And then let Tank Dell flip out and go and do his other stuff like that. So interesting. Ertz or Strange at tight end if Ertz is obviously healthy.
Yeah, well, the thing with Ertz is he's in concussion protocol, so if he gets cleared, he's a full go. So Ertz is going to go against the Eagles this week. Strange has the great matchup with the Raiders, and I mean, coming off 12-target game, I think I'll go Brenton Strange because Ertz has been entirely volume based. You're hoping that essentially that he'll get enough targets and he'll randomly score a touchdown or maybe a 2-point conversion or something because he's giving you nothing in terms of yak. So I think I'm going Strange regardless there.
I agree with you completely. And it's kind of funny. I've been getting a lot of questions. I posted a video on TikTok talking about Brendan Strange and it's blown up completely. And there's like tons of questions as far as like, who am I using? This guy or Strange, that guy or Strange. And it comes down to the fact that the targets are very, very consolidated on Jacksonville.
Right.
They're either going to Brian Thomas Jr. or they're going to Brenton Strange or, insert tight end name here. And so, like for a full point PPR going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, when your run game of Bigsby and ETN is garbage, like why wouldn't I be leaning on Brenton Strange? I'm not saying he's going to see 12 targets, but if he sees 6, 7, 8 targets in this game and he comes up with 5 or 6 catches, 7 catches, I mean, I think that's going to be worth its weight in gold in a PPR format for sure.
Exactly. And what are your other options? Like, unfortunately for us, Stone Smart, he got the 6 targets last week, but he has arguably the worst matchup right now. I mean, DVOA, Denver is the top ranked defense versus tight end. They slow the game down, the over-under's low. So it's like, even as a big Stone Smart fan, I have to rank Brenton Strange ahead this week. The matchups couldn't be more opposite. We're talking a number 1 and top 5 in every metric against the tight end versus a bottom 5 team in the Raiders.
Yeah. All right. So those are DM 7819's questions. Stu's Art in the house here. He's starting Bucky as you should. Yes. Bucky Irving against Dallas.
Awesome.
Love that. Love that. But now he has the question, should I start White, Zay, or Ford? So I'm assuming that's Rachaad White, which I'm not interested in.
No.
Zay Flowers, who was the most targeted receiver, but the only guy who didn't get into the end zone for the Ravens last week, or Jerome Ford. And the question is are the DTR checkdowns going to be enough for Jerome Ford? Can he make his way into fantasy relevance still with the QB switch going up against the Cincinnati Bengals this week?
Yeah, I'm just sticking with Zay Flowers. I mean, he's been consistent. The only bad games he's really had have been the Derrick Henry games where Derrick Henry's gone crazy. And Derrick Henry hasn't done that in a while. Hasn't really had like a blow-up game since week like 8 or so. So I'm going Flowers. I just don't trust the Browns offense. Like, I mean, what are they expecting? I think they're just trying to get better draft position, to be honest.
I agree. All right, Ethan Batterman in the house here. Hi, fam. Need 2 PPR, DK Metcalf, Malik Neighbors, Isaac Garendo, or Khalil Shakir?
Man, I feel like I just can't give up on DK. I can't give up on him. I think that is one of the, there's no real like shootout potential games, right?
That's you know how much I love DK.
I know.
My confidence is waning.
And I think with Malik Neighbors, they're trying to pepper Neighbors here and get him as many looks as possible because they know they're chasing that rookie record. But would you start if Garendo is a full go in that 49ers offense, and Trent Williams is active, he has to be one of the players. So it might, I think it would be Garendo and DK for me.
And Garendo and Neighbors for me. Like, I'll just,
Okay.
keep peppering. I'm hoping Drew Lock's going to be back. We're going to have to wait and
Right.
see what's going on with the QB situation. But, Garendo, I mean, listen, it's Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McDaniel, right? The teacher versus the student,
Right.
the battle in the mid-tier branches of the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. That's kind of what we're looking at here. So I'm in on Garendo. I'll lean Neighbors for now. I get you on the DK Metcalf stuff. We'll have to just kind of wait and see.
Right.
Ethan also wants to know Brenton Stranger, Stone Smart in half-point PPR.
Yeah, we talked about that one, but it's got to be Strange. I mean, because the situations are similar enough, but the matchup is so much better for Strange.
All right. And then in a half-point, he also needs 2 out of these running backs. Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, if healthy, DK Metcalf, Kendry Miller, if no Kamara. So if no Kamara, definitely using Kendry Miller here.
For sure. And if Kenneth Walker's healthy, then I'll use him too.
Yeah.
But, and then Pacheco is your third guy if one of Walker or Miller's out. I mean, he hasn't been getting the full gig, but, I mean, he's at least getting the start. He's getting the goal line carries, and, running back's just too valuable.
Jerry Nelson snuck in here early to put Howard Bender in bold and orange. I like your style there, Jerry, but then he follows it up with an immediate coup.
So, okay. You got to be consistent, but look at that. Jerry loves you, Howard.
And then we get back over here where we are active in the chat here. Brian Bernard, happy hump day to the Fantasy Alarm family. You, Coop, and me. We rock.
Excellent. The best.
There you have it. Now, what do you want to talk about now? Now that we've cleared the deck of those questions there, we have obviously a ton of other questions that we got to get in there.
Why don't we talk Thursday night ball, maybe do a couple underdogs, a couple underdog picks, and then we'll
really, I want to just say hi to Auntie Koopy. Well, come on.
Obviously, Auntie Koopy gets precedent. I thought we were going to do a whole segment for Lainey and Auntie Koop. I didn't want to just sneak her in right before the Thursday night football.
I had to do it. I just had to say hi. I had to say hi to my favorite Rams fan.
Shout out Auntie Koop. Yeah, the battle has begun for Lainey's fandom.
All right. Oh, Howard Bender in the chat here. I see all these early questions and not a single like.
Wow, great point by Howard.
Get those likes in, people. Come on. Just a free way of being like, yo, we appreciate you answering all of our start sit questions. Please.
Thank you, gang.
Take it away, Coop. What direction do you want to go? I'm flexible right now. I'm sitting here chilling. I just beat the snot out of a couple of trolls on the internet. I'm feeling good.
Eat them to death. Yeah, I say we talk Thursday in football. Because this game, it's it definitely matters for a lot of teams, but maybe not as action packed as Thursday night football games have been of past weeks. Right, lower over under here than the shootouts, but you never know. You never know with these games. So what do you think? Chargers -2.5 over under 42. What's your initial lean?
I mean, you know what? I actually don't want to bet this game. I'm not going to bet this game because here's the thing, and you guys can probably hear the DFS little breakdown vignette that I did for SiriusXM. That'll probably air all day tomorrow. But you look at these two teams right now, and it's like you've got Bo Nix, you've got Justin Herbert. Herbert's got McConkey Tonk Badonkadonk. Bo Nix has Cortland Sutton, right? Those are that's it. Both running games absolutely suck. Both defenses absolutely fantastic, right? Good, solid, strong defenses. Both backfields are terrible. I think the difference maker that you're going to have in this game here, like I might lean on the under because I think Cameron Dicker and Will Lutz are going to be like shining stars. But I think what you need to kind of identify is where there are some, small weaknesses, cracks in the armor of each defense and figure out which player you like more. Right? Do you like Devon Vele over Marvin Mims? Even though Mims out-targeted him last week, Vele played 60% of the snaps to just 25% for Marvin Mims. So Are you on that front? Do you like Joshua Palmer or Quentin Johnston? And is Quentin Johnston going to end up, will Surtain shadow McConkey, or will Surtain just stay where he is and probably, just eliminate Quentin Johnston from the equation? Like that's the issue that I have here. I don't want to bet this game. I don't think that either team has a significant enough advantage weapons wise or defensively to really, make a good decision on this.
Yeah, it's a funny, who this game is really funny for is Bengals fans, because it's a long shot, but for them to make the playoffs, whichever of these teams loses, they need to now turn and root for that team to lose their other two games too. Yeah. And if that happens, they can make the playoffs. So they're sitting here with no horse in the fight, just watching the game. And whoever loses, they need to turn around and be like, okay, now I really don't like that.
They need the charge. The Bengals need Denver to win this one. Denver's 9-5. Chargers are 8-6.
But if it goes the other way, if the Chargers win and Denver loses all their games, then the Bengals can get in over over Denver.
Right.
So actually, for them, it could go either way.
Easier path? The easier path is for the Chargers to lose, for them to drop to 8-7, and then the Bengals win this week and they go to 7-8, and they're only a game behind.
But the Chargers' next two games are against the Patriots and against the Raiders. So it's almost there's another wrench into it.
I think
the Bengals are in big trouble. I think
Denver the rest of the way has they have the Bengals.
Yes.
All right,
so obviously that one.
That's a bigger swing right there.
It's such a crazy situation for them. And just to think back, if that, and this is the whole thing with like the culture and the way your team is run, if they had just paid these guys, Chase and Higgins, and everybody was ready to go, they probably beat the Patriots week 1, and now they're not in this stupid situation. But they messed around all offseason. They lost their first 3 games of the year, and now they are in this mess, man. It's like that's where ownership comes in, right? Because the guys got paid, didn't they, Howard? Like if they had just paid them in July or June, then everything's fine. It's just like ownership screwing up once again.
Womp.
Yeah. Screwing up the Patriots draft pick too. Patriots should have won that game. Patriots should be getting the first overall pick.
I'll tell you what, let's if we're gonna, let's sit here on Thursday night and let's visit our friends over at Underdog. Yeah. How about that?
That's how you make this game fun.
Folks, zap that QR code right there. If you've never signed up at Underdog, you get a 50% match on your first deposit, a 99% off pick. That basically just means that the pick's going to be like Justin Herbert, half a yard, right? I mean, so you want that. Like that just makes it nice and easy. If you don't want to zap the QR code because that's how they get you, then you can definitely go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use that promo code ALARM. Let's give them some picks, Coop. Let's give him some. Do you have a pick, or do you have a tackle monster pick? Where are you at?
No tackle monster on this one. We actually, the thing is, they don't have everything up yet. So for tomorrow's show on the Sirius XM show, I'll have a tackle monster. Maybe. I mean, again, I don't force it. We only do it if it's there. But there is one play I really do like. Some people might say it's boring. Jon Impemba loves these type picks, but our guy Will Lutz, a guy that we've been depending on all year. If you go and look at the kind of game scripts for what the Chargers do, they are a bend, don't break defense, and they are allowing, the fewest points in the league, but they're like one of the top teams in field goal attempts against them per game, 2.4 field goal attempts against them per game. They're going to be playing in good weather in Los Angeles. Will Lutz, 1.5 field goals made. You can almost get that at a 1-to-1, and I'm going higher on that. I think we get I think this is going to be one of those games where we get multiple field goals. So Will Lutz higher 1.5 field goals.
Listen, I've been riding Will Lutz all season like a
good
pony, baby. He's been my kicker, and like I think out of 103 leagues, I had him in at least 80 of my leagues as my kicker. It was so nice, so easy breezy, and I love that. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go with a player who I think has a good matchup this week, and that is Devon Vele. I'm not a huge Devon Vele fan. I'm really not. But for his role and what he does in this offense, I'm going to lean on him a little bit here. His receiving yards stat line is 30.5 receiving yards. The last time they played the Chargers, he had like 4 or 5 catches for like 70 some odd yards, right? Fine, he got shut out last week. Oh, what's the big deal? It's a matchup-based situation. And if maybe Marvin Mims and his little gadgets and gimmicks and fun stuff like that, maybe that hits or whatever. But come on. Vele, if this guy can get 5, 6, 7 targets with the A dot that he has, he's got the capability of really turning on at least just going higher than 30.5 receiving yards, like at least. So I am locking that one down. I already put my my shot in there, and I actually also just bet it on BetMGM. I texted my guy when I saw the line here, and I was like, I don't know why it's so low right now, but let's just do it anyway. Right. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
He was battling with Josh Reynolds earlier this year for that role, and yeah, exactly. They basically said, Josh Reynolds, we don't even need your services anymore. Released him completely. And even though there hasn't been another full-time wide receiver after Cortland Sutton, Devon Vele has been the closest thing. I mean, he's been the second snap getter in this team for probably the entire second half of the season. So yeah, Vele definitely the second best wide receiver on that team for fantasy, no question.
All right. Well, all righty. So there you go. All right. So Will Lutz higher than 1.5 field goals made.
Easy.
Devon Vele higher than 30.5. I guess we're going to well, you know what? Like you're going to have to find a Charger pick. So maybe what you're hoping for right now is that the gimme pick that they do for the Thursday Night Football, that it is one of the Chargers players. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll look at Stone Smart and I'll look at his numbers and
I looked at him.
I want to do that.
I looked at him. There were 3. I liked the one I like best is higher than 3.5 receptions, more than because they know that he can break off the big one. They put his long boy at 17.5, which is kind of high for me.
Right.
So
yeah, me too.
I was looking at I was thinking long boy when I went to look for it, but they're onto us with the long boy. So either the receptions or the yardage is the way to go.
All right. Well, there you go. Shout out to our friends over at Underdog. Again, remember, fantasyalarm.com/underdog, promo code alarm. Match on the first deposit up to 50%, which I mean 50% match on your deposit up to $1,000 in bonus cash, gimme picks, all that fun stuff there for sure. And you know what? We've got all sorts of Underdog plays over at fantasyalarm.com. If you guys are into it, jump on in. Jon Impemba and James Grande have been doing a lot of the Underdog picks over there. And those guys they just sit there and they just grind it out and build their bankroll. So shout out over there. All right, Coop. Now, where are you? I keep taking over here, man. I thought today's the day you're supposed to lead. I'm just supposed to sit here and be the eye candy. What's going on?
What's funny about that is that I was ready to lead, and then you opened your mouth right after the intro to the show, and I was like, you know what? I'll just hang out. I'll just hang out until he figures out what's going on. So I will take over now. Let's get back in the chat then. All right. Last person that before you jump down to Ani Coop, rightfully so, Fatty McFats had a question here, and this is a dynasty question. It is time. As much as I hate to say it, and I love to focus on redraft, now over the next couple of weeks is your last chance to really make maneuvers, especially trading with teams that are still in it. But just in general, people kind of shut it off a little bit. You think that you're going to be able to keep trading with people, but right now it's kind of your last chance. So get those dynasty trades in over the next couple of weeks before people kind of shut it down for a while. He has Derrick Henry in dynasty. Few owners sniffing around. What would be good compensation for him, or should he just keep him? I mean, I'm assuming that Fatty's out, or else he would just keep Derrick Henry. But what would you want to get back if you're eliminated and the team is making a run and they want Derrick Henry off you?
I mean, I still want at least a second-round pick for Derrick Henry.
Definitely.
Like I mean, he's still going to see the volume. He's not going anywhere. He's staying with the Ravens. This is their offense, and they're going to talk you down a little bit because they see his load being lightened, right? I think Derrick Henry hasn't scored more than 14.3 fantasy points since like week 8 or 9 or something like that. Right. But you see that there are games where they use him heavily and there are games where they just throw heavily. So it fits what's going on there, and he is staying healthy. So, you watch. I tell you what, this is not the time to trade Derrick Henry, unless, of course, somebody needs Derrick Henry for this year, and then you don't settle for anything less than a second-round pick.
Right, exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
but if you can wait, trade him in Dynasty right after he like rushes for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns in like the first week of the playoffs. Because they're gonna use him.
Yeah, and I think the value of his value is not going to drastically change, Howard. Like you get a second now, you're probably still going to be able to get a second right before the NFL draft. You know what I mean? Like that's what he is now. No one's going to give you a first, but you're not going to trade him for a third. So that's just the value for that kind of play. Jerry has a question. This one I have very close in my rankings. I'm interested in your thoughts on this one, Howard. You've got Tucker Kraft going up against the Saints, or Brenton Strange against the Raiders, and it's full PPR. So not necessarily best format for Kraft, but I mean, where would you go with that?
Well, that's the thing. Sorry, I got a little visitor
Where would you go? Under your desk?
Well, she's trying to get up on my lap here. This is my biggin. This is my big girl. This is Evie, my big fat diabetic, gorgeous girl.
Fat cat in the house. All right.
Well, make sure she doesn't have a little duty butt before she sits on my lap. But anyway, I'm going Brenton Strange here. I'm going for the targets in that PPR format. Again, I said it. In games where Brenton Strange has started in place of Evan Engram, a 26.1% target share. The only player who's seeing more targets in that offensive scheme is Brian Thomas Jr. We talk about consolidated targets all the time, right? And those are the offenses where it's like, I want that guy. We talked about this with the Falcons, right? We knew that it was either London, Mooney, or Pitts. And then when it wasn't Pitts, it became Ray McLeod, right? So it wasn't deviating from, it's not like when you're dealing with like the Buffalo Bills where you're like, oh crap, I got like 7 different receivers that Josh Allen is throwing to. So give me Strange here rather than chasing touchdowns for Tucker Kraft.
Exactly. If this were standard, maybe, but any sort of PPR, it's got to be Strange for me. Brian's got an off-topic question here. This is a good one for you, Howard, because I don't really know how to answer this, but huge Grateful Dead fan. Do you like the song The Winners? There's a version that Bob Weir does that's fire. I'm sure you know this one. Do you know the song?
I know the song. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of it. Like, it just it's never really like gone. It's never really gone anywhere for me. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's I don't know. It's okay. I mean, does Bobby do it with like Rat Dog? Like, is that what we're talking about here? I don't even know. The Winners. Am I thinking of the right song? I need to know who does the original.
Brian, you got to circle back in the chat because the two of you guys are probably the only people. Maybe if Meat Mansion's in here, he knows what you're talking about as well because he loves the Grateful Dead too. The rest of us are like, with no idea. This is too deep of a cut for most of us. All right, David says good morning.
I'm just making sure I'm like,
you look that up. I'll answer this. I'll answer this next one.
Oh, here we go. Oh, all right. Released in 2012.
That's what he
said.
That's yes.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. I never got into like the whole Rat Dog thing. It was so funny. I was more of a Phil and Friends guy than a Rat Dog guy. Like Bobby was always like the fist pumping bros in the, in the fraternity, stuff like that. For me, oh, I think you froze, Coop. Look at that. You froze one out of focus. You hate this conversation so much.
I'm still frozen.
No, you're not frozen
now.
You're
a Rat Dog, Mouse Rat, Jet Black Pope. I don't know these bands, dog. Is it a guy?
Rat Dog is Bob Weir's. So when the Grateful Dead stopped playing together for a little while, you had Phil Lesh who did Phil and Friends, and he would grab like other artists from other groups or whatever who would play with them. Like he had the guys from Fish, like he had Trey and Mike or Paige and Mike with him for a show at the Beacon Theater. Bobby went with this group and they called themselves Rat Dog. It was okay. All
right. The Dino Fontaine wants to know. Hi, gentlemen. Hi, gentlemen. This is turning into the Big Steve hour, dude. Like, we got to talk football. Hi, gentlemen. Need 3 PPR, Dowdle, Aaron Jones, Neighbors, BTJ, McConkey. Wow, that is squad, man. Bonus 10 points for 100 yards of receiving or rushing. That is a meaningful bonus.
Yeah. All right. I mean, listen, I can't go away from Aaron Jones. He
Nope.
looks fantastic right now since coming back from the rib injury, from the offensive line sort of securing themselves. I mean, to me, it's you're riding the hot hand here, right? You're going up against Seattle. It's not a killer run defense. I don't,
They're not. They're allowing
I don't mind.
127 yards on the ground a game, which 100
BTJ is
yards,
a
what you
must.
need. Yes.
BTJ is an absolute must. Again, one of my biggest regrets from week 16 was not being in on BTJ enough, that or week 15. So him, Aaron Jones, and then I'll tell you what, man, I am probably going to lean McConkatonk Badonkadonk because he is the favorite target. He is the reliable guy for Justin Herbert. I know it's a tougher matchup against this Denver secondary. But I mean, again, without knowing who the QB is going to be for the Giants, I don't necessarily know what I can do as far as trusting neighbors go. And I'm just not going to use Rico Dowdle running against Tampa Bay, when they have Vita Vea just plug it up the middle like they do.
Yes, and Surtain does not go into the slot. He has, I mean, he will he's the kind of guy that only goes in the slot if they've already basically called it man to man and then the guy motions into the slot. So he's actually not once this season has he played more than 7 snaps on a slot player. So they're not going to assign him to McConkey if McConkey's in the slot. If he's assigned to McConkey on the outside and McConkey motions in the slot, he might go with him, but you don't have to worry about like the true shadow in that situation. So I like it. I'm down with McConkey. Is Alvin Kamara playing? I'm freaking out. We don't know. We don't know just yet.
We don't know. Do you not have Kendry Miller? And if you don't have Kendry Miller, why, Derek? Why?
You should have Kendry Miller.
Why?
Yes. Troll tears are the sweetest.
So
Agreed.
sweet.
Derek's freaking out so much he had to put that in there twice.
Oh, Derek.
Tom Lunds, what's up, guys? Week 15 bloodbath. Made it in playoffs in 5 out of 7 leagues, then lost in all 5. Still alive in 1 because of the bye. That hurts, man. But it's like, you know what? You just got to put yourself. The tournament's crazy. On yesterday's show, I talked about a team that I lost in a dynasty league where my team is an absolute wagon, and I went all in on running backs, including old running backs like Saquon and Derrick Henry, and I lost. And it's like, you just got to give yourself a shot. So it's all right to lose. That's part of the game. 11 out of 12 teams in your 12-team leagues are going to lose. Oh, Twitch gang in the house. Twitch glasses for the Twitch gang. Start one of these two, Howard. Cup or Brees Hall. Who's gonna bring the redemption this week?
I need to know, Fredo, why it's one or the other here. Right. Something tells me that there's a way to get both of these guys into your lineup. If I'm going to pick one over the other, I'm going to use Brees Hall, especially with Braylon Allen banged up. I don't think Brees Hall loses goal line work to Isaiah Davis. So you can run on the Rams, and you have to, if you're going to open things up for Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to run the football. And running the football against the Rams is not a difficult thing to do. So I'm going to lean Brees Hall here, but you got to find a way. Find a way, Fredo.
Everybody has down games. Everybody has down games. Those guys are going to be fine. Dino Fontaine, and we're going to go rapid fire a little bit here just to get caught up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coop. Am I dawdling? It was the winner's talk. It was Grateful Dead talk. That's what it was. I'm sorry.
The thing is, you didn't, because rapid fire hadn't officially begun yet, so you're allowed to talk as much as you'd like. But as of this particular moment, it has now begun. All right. 2 players, full PPR: Dowdle, McConkey, Aaron Jones. Big bonuses as well.
Jones and McConkey.
Yep. Week 16, fam, from Josh. Thanks for all the help in the semifinals in 3 leagues. So that's just a really nice message. Half PPR, bench 1. Neighbors, Terry, Puka, Nico.
I'm going to bench Neighbors because I don't know the QB situation, and all 3 of the other guys are ridiculous.
Yes, good team. Is Hollywood Brown worth a stash just for championship week?
Yes, especially with the way that injuries are going right now. Yes.
Yep. What do I do with Judy this week? Options are Pacheco, Otten, or Kendra Miller.
Well, I mean, if Kendra Miller, if Kamara's not going to play, then I'll use Kendra Miller. Out of the rest of that group, though, I actually think I would just take that shot on Judy. I mean, the offensive scheme is directing targets his way. So, I mean, I think I would probably do that.
Morning. Greg says, morning, chaps. Hail to the Washington Bullets. Rod Elliott
Washington Bullets.
says, hey, fellas, defense question. Jets, Dolphins, Tampa, Tennessee.
Jets against the Rams, no. Dolphins against the Niners, no. Tampa Bay against Dallas, ooh. Tennessee Titans, they're playing the Colts. Oh, that might be good. So Titans against the Colts might be nice, considering it's Anthony Richardson. Now, Richardson was hurt the last time these two teams played, so there's no real frame of reference here. But if I'm looking for turnovers, I might just lean towards Tennessee, since Tampa's pass defense is a little.
Right. Yeah, I have them close. I have Tampa slightly ahead, but I'm down with
Okay.
either one there. Ani Coop says, you rock, Toronto Dave. You guys all rock. Supporting Laney in the chat. Penix is the next Anthony Richardson. Look at
Wondering
that.
if I rocked. Do I
Speaking
not
of
rock?
Penix, you rock, of course.
Okay.
Speaking of Penix, Superflex, would you consider starting him over Stroud or Russ? And they've already got Goff in there, so one of Stroud or Russ is going to be on the bench.
You consider starting him in the offensive player position. I mean, you already said that you don't like Stroud going up against Kansas City, and it's a road game for Stroud, so I agree with that.
Right.
Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh here, in their matchup against the Ravens.
I think that's what I'd do. I think
You
that's what I
use
would
them,
do.
or yeah?
I think I would start Goff and Russ.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
Ferg or Strange? Ferg or Strange? So I know you like Ferg a little bit this week. He's got a good matchup. Great matchup.
I do like Ferg this week, but again, you're touchdown chasing with Ferg. It's Ferg is no different than Tucker Kraft.
No.
So Strange for me.
Agreed. Flex spot, since I am not sure about Judy. We did that one already. We said Kendre Miller if actually Pacheco was added. Would you do Pacheco over Judy?
I know Pacheco was in the other one there too. I still think I might go Judy if it's PPR.
Yeah.
Is it PPR scoring? If it's PPR scoring, Kendre Miller if Kamara's out, then Judy, then Pacheco, then Otten.
Yeah. Better stash, Kamani Vidal or Craig Reynolds. Doesn't have Gibbs.
I mean, I'd probably use Reynolds because they need a new Knuckles in Detroit.
That's why he's there. That's why he's there. He's there to play. Like, they're definitely going to utilize him. Shakir, Cup, Judy, BTJ, bench one.
Out of this group here, I'm benching Judy because of the quarterback downgrade. I think Shakir gets enough PPR work from, I mean, he was a target leader this past week. So I'd use Shakir, Cup, and Judy and BTJ. I mean, bench Judy.
Yep, fully agree. Brees or Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams, one of the hottest
Adams in a
football.
PPR. You got it.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle or Jerome Ford? Rico, not a super easy run matchup versus Tampa Bay.
No, Ford. It's not. But Ford dealing with, I mean, the Bengals don't have a great run defense if either Sheldon Rankins or BJ Hill are out. I don't know what Rankins' situation is right now.
So the thing was he was sick last week, so I think he's going to play this week.
Okay, well, then if that's the case, then yeah, illness. You're right.
Unless he's
I'd go Rico Dowdle here.
Unless he's like really sick.
I go Dowdle. Just hope for some outside zone running.
Yeah. Strange over Pitts. Yes.
Excuse me. Yes.
Buffalo versus the Patriots or Atlanta against the Giants.
Oh, I think both of them are in play this week. I do. But I think I would probably go with Buffalo at home here, just because if Penix does struggle and there are a lot of good number of 3 and outs, then I kind of worry.
Yeah, agreed. Might not give the defense time to rest. Drake London, JSN, Khalil Shakir.
Ooh. Everybody's got issues.
That's where, yeah. I mean, JSN, yeah. Again, Chandler, you're gonna have to circle back on that one because we don't know who the quarterback for JSN is gonna be, and I think it's close enough that might end up mattering here.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna matter because I mean, listen, if it's Geno Smith, I'll lock into JSN over both. If it's Sam Howell, I actually might pivot just to Shakir.
Yeah. Yes, because Shakir has been very reliable. His upside isn't great, but I mean, he leads the team in targets, and it's a good team. and it's a good matchup for him because he plays the slot, and the only good player on the Patriots defense plays on the outside. I'm starting McMillan over McLaurin in the flex. Wow. Eagles shut down McLaurin last time they played. Too bold or just bold enough?
Yeah, I think it's a little on the bold side there. I mean, it's definitely a better matchup for McMillan. You know, these teams played 4 weeks ago, and it was the second game. Like Pittsburgh massively blitzed against against Jaden Daniels, and that's what shook him. And then the Eagles just kind of did the same thing. I think here now, a couple of weeks down the road, I don't necessarily know if we're going to see a shutdown there on McLaurin, but listen, do it up, Angelo. Like I'm not going to tell you it's the wrong move to make. Is it a move I would do? I don't think so, but I'm not going to tell you that it's not a right move if you firmly believe that the Eagles and Darius Slay and company are going to shut down Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, and my thought process on that whole thing is this. It's like over under 45, only a 3-point spread, which means that they're saying this team's going to manage to score 20 points. There's no Noah Brown. There's no Zach Ertz. How do they score 20 points without McLaurin doing something? Like, or do you think that the Eagles are just going to crush Washington and Vegas has it completely wrong? That's why for me, McLaurin's still a fine play. Neighbors over Jennings.
Depends on who the QB is. It genuinely depends on who the QB is.
Yeah, I like Jennings, I think.
And I would not start either guy over Derrick Henry.
Right. Jennings is good outside last week where the rain was insane and everybody was terrible. So, yes.
The rain in Spain was insane?
The rain insane in the membrane is the rain in San Francisco. Would you give Penix a shot over Richardson in Superflex? 6-point passing. Nah.
I'd probably just stick with Richardson against Tennessee.
I would, but if your quarterback's Richardson, I like the idea of having Penix on the bench because if you can survive this week, then maybe you do it next week, right? Okay. But I don't know. I just can't. Rookie, his first game ever. That sounds terrible.
Skinny's still reeling from the fact that he lost by 0.52 in the playoffs in my Animal Crackers league.
0.5.
Right, he lost to my buddy Frenchie, and he's still reeling.
Ouchie, mau. Going against Burrow, Chase, Stack, and I have QB problems. Herbert, Wilson, Richardson.
You got problems. I'm going with Herbert here.
Yeah, it's got to be. Rodgers or Jordan Love. Good matchup for Jordan Love. Rodgers is trying to protect his job, and he's doing a pretty good job of it.
And yet I still think I would go with Jordan Love. You know what? I mean, it's the Saints, and the Saints are a run funnel defense. And what we've seen out of Josh Jacobs now, I might go with Rodgers again.
Rodgers is a really good matchup versus the Rams.
Yeah, I might go Rodgers.
I think I have Jordan Love ranked ahead, but I might have to revisit. I do love Jordan Love this week, though.
I do like him.
What's up, boys? Cooper Rush or Brock Purdy? Oh, yeah, Twitch guy. Twitch glasses for the Twitch gang. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. Thank you for joining us on Twitter. If you want to support us for free, pop over to the YouTube either before or after the show. Throw a little like, throw a little subscribe on there. You can do that for free, and it means a lot to us. Just helps with the channel, helps with everything we do. You know what I mean? As far as it's funny how this stuff trickles down. Like a retweet, a like, these things help bring people to us, and that helps build the company, and then we can offer more products, do more things for you guys. So it really does add up in the end, and you can do it for free. Sup, guys? Do I start Cooper Rush or Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy for me.
Yeah. Also have option to get Russell Wilson. No, stick with Purdy.
Brock Purdy for me.
Yep, good. Knicks or Love for Ethan?
Ooh.
Not a good matchup for Knicks.
Yeah, I'd actually think I'd go with Jordan Love in this matchup.
That's how I have it, too. Not super excited for Knicks this week. Jennings, McLaurin, DJ Moore wants them ranked.
Oh, all right. I'm going to say McLaurin. Was it Detroit for Chicago? Yeah, so McLaurin, Moore, Jennings for me.
I have it McLaurin, Jennings, then Moore.
Okay. I just don't know where Jalen Ramsey's going to play in this one here and who he's going to see more, whether it's going to be Debo, whether it's going to be Jennings.
Jennings just been so good.
He has been. Yeah, absolutely.
They're all good players.
So is DJ Moore.
Yeah, right. And so is Terry McLaurin. Okay, next question. Please pick 2 RBs and a flex. Garendo, Irving, Stevenson, Ford, McConkey, and then also Garrett Wilson. So he needs 2 of these running backs and then a couple
So
wide receivers.
Garendo and Irving for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think I would probably, squeaky wheels getting the grease here. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
I love McConkey, but Garrett Wilson's the squeaky wheel this week.
Targets are highly consolidated, and the upside's there for Wilson. Half PPR, Hawk or Ferg.
Ooh, it's half PPR, so I think I might just go Ferg here.
Yeah, I feel like Hawk at
Tampa Bay against the tight end.
Yeah, they are bad.
Horrendous.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Hawk has been getting ramped up a little bit. He gets
Seattle.
Yeah. All right. I can see it.
And I'll tell you what, here's the interesting thing about that Minnesota-Seattle game. With news that Geno Smith has a bum wheel and everything that we've seen from Seattle and their struggles, Minnesota, everybody loves Minnesota, right? Minnesota's 12-2. Sam Darnold's the next coming of, Tom Brady probably. Why are the Vikings only favored by 3? I get that it's on the road, right, but why are they only favored by 3? You would look at these two teams together and you'd be like, of course the Vikings can beat up on the Seattle Seahawks. So Vegas is telling you, A, it's going to be closer than you think, and B, it might be Seattle.
Could be a lot of passing, a lot of potential overtime for TJ Hawkinson. But no, I like Ferg there. All right, let's super rapid fire because we got up against it and we're not even close to finishing the questions. If we don't get your question today, just pop into the Fantasy Alarm Discord. You can ask questions whenever. I'm going to pop in and hit on anything that's in the Coop's corner there. But we have analysts in there all day long answering your questions. So PPR League, need one flex. Judy, Dowdle, Myers, Pollard.
Ooh. I mean...
Rapid fire.
Sorry. Pollard.
Agreed. Auden or Strange?
Strange.
Yeah. Auden's been kind of cooked since Mike Evans got back. Garendo, Irving, Dowdle, Neighbors, Tyreek, Cup, and Sutton. One has to be a running back, one has to be wide receiver and a flex.
All right. Irving and Garendo for sure. And then I'm going Cooper Kupp against the Jets.
I think I would go Tyreek and Cup.
Okay.
And Garendo. Strange or Hunter Henry or Tucker Kraft?
Strange.
I'm sticking with Hunter Henry. Still caught all 4 of his targets last week. All right. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you. Shout out on a Coop. There's the gang. Got all my homies. Let's go. Smart or Henry?
Henry.
I'm going Henry. Yeah. Thanks for the insight yesterday, Coop. So my RB2, Kyron Dowdle Ford. Is it crazy to lean Dowdle? Just needs 1 RB. Kyron Dowdle Ford.
Kyron for me.
It's Kyron. Yeah,
he's playing against Kyron.
Massive snap share. And then wide receiver 3, would you go Neighbors and McLaurin?
I'm still going McLaurin.
I
know it's a tough matchup.
Yeah. Kamara / Kendre Miller. I think that's what you do, man. You start Kamara if he's healthy or Kendre Miller if he's, if he's not. It's easy as that. The other options aren't good enough. Chargers defense, Tennessee defense, or Colts?
I'm going to go with the Colts defense against the Titans. Mason Rudolph and/or Will Levis.
Exactly how I have it. Standard League: Jerome Ford, Mondre, DJ Moore. Need 2 of 3.
2 of the 3 here. I'm going to go with Stevenson and Moore.
Yep, agreed. That I'm so out on the Browns now.
Thomas Jr.
Yep. How would you rank the following top tight ends? Bowers or Jonnu? Wow.
Bowers.
Always Bowers. Yeah. The game plan hasn't changed. Mahomes or Richardson?
Mahomes.
Yeah, it's still Mahomes. Grateful Dead talk. Lots of Grateful Dead talk. JMO, Spears, B-Rob, Miller, JMO, or McLaurin?
All right. Well,
again, if Kamara's out, I'm starting Kendre Miller.
Right. Well, yeah. So it's B-Rob and Miller. And and I'll tell you what, I'd probably just go with Miller anyway if you need 2 running backs, because he will probably get a bigger share unless Tony Pollard is actually out. So right. Miller and B-Rob there. The 1 wide receiver is going to be McLaurin over JMO, and then Strange over Kraft for me.
Yep, we established that one.
And Lonely Stoner, just hit me up on Twitter, and we'll do some bong rips together.
There you go, dude. Hubbard or Garendo? I think we can hit these real quick and get it. And get
All
it
right.
all out.
I'm gonna go with I'll go with Garendo here, but I do like Hubbard.
Yeah, I like them both. Devonta, DK, Shakir, McMillan needs 2.
I'm gonna go with McMillan and Shakir.
Yes,
I know you like DK.
Yes, and leave Tyreek in.
Yeah, I'm not sitting Tyreek.
I like Devonta Smith this week, honestly.
Okay.
I would go Devonta Smith and Shakir. Ridley or Ford this week?
Ooh, I'll go Ridley, even though I hate the quarterback situation.
I know it's bad, but it couldn't be worse than it's been. Neighbors or Cup?
Cup.
Yeah. Sit one. We're not going to sit Puka or Jefferson. So sit one of Jennings, Neighbors.
We did this already. I'm sitting Neighbors.
Yep. Pick 2. DK, Terry, Jennings, Garendo, full PPR.
Terry and Garendo.
Smart over Pitts.
Yep.
Start you. Jennings, Neighbors, Shakir, Smith.
Didn't we do this one already here?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Jennings and Neighbors.
Last 3 rapid fire questions here.
Oh, boom.
2 of 3. Pacheco, Ford, Garendo.
Pacheco and Garendo.
If Kamara is out, you can go Miller or you can start him over. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that though you obviously start him over all those guys. Even if Kamara plays, start him over those guys. Sutton or Jennings?
I'm gonna go Jennings in this one. As much as I love Sutton, I think the Chargers defensive backs rock solid here.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for Sutton. Should I drop Bo Nix for Rogers, Strange, Otten, or Muth? DJ Moore or Scary Terry? Don't drop DJ Moore or Scary Terry.
No, I mean, should I drop Bo Nix for Rogers? Are you talking about for starting purposes this week? If you're starting purposes this week, then yes, I would probably look to. I wouldn't drop Bo Nix though. He's gonna have the Bengals in like next week. So if you advance, you're gonna want to start Bo Nix next week. So
yeah, just drop.
You have Strange, Otten, or Muth. Drop one of those tight ends.
Yeah.
Start Strange, drop Otten or Muth, either one.
Yeah.
Scary Terry over DJ Moore. Indy defense over Denver defense here, just for the matchup.
Yep, boom. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us tonight. Look at that. Howard Bender, rapid fire champion of the world. Still rapid fire champion.
Oh, now you sound like my wife.
That's right.
Rapid fire champion. Right?
You don't miss. Yes, in time for dinner.
Sometimes
Howard Bender,
these are just for me.
Andrew Cooper, this is the family. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and make sure you stay tuned, folks, because we have a very special offer coming this Friday. If you're not a Family Seal Arm member yet, just hang tight. Hang tight for
Holidays
Friday.
are coming.